One of my most requested recipes in my house are my smoked ribs. And hands down, the most efficient and delicious way of cooking them is known as the 3-2-1 method. Don't worry, I'll break that down for you shortly. For now, let's get everything prepped up. Sound good? Let's smoke. I'm gonna start off loading up my hopper with a combination of apple and alder wood. You could also use things like cherry, pecan, oak, hickory, or mesquite. You be the judge. Then I'm going to turn my smoker up to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep, I'm an old man these days. I like to push buttons on my smoker and walk away. But if you're doubting I know how to smoke, be sure to check out this video where I smoke 60 racks of ribs over an open pit. So now let's bring out those ribs. I'm going to be using baby backs for this recipe. So what you're looking for when purchasing them from the store is that they should be pink and red in color and have excellent coverage of meat over those bones. There should be no bones being exposed. Also, there should be no big chunks of fat anywhere. And in addition, each rack should weigh in between 1.5 and 2 pounds each. Remember, these are baby backs. That means the rib is closer to the back, while spare ribs are closer to the belly side. Now I'm going to remove the membrane on the back side of these, although I don't think you need to do it because guess what? After 6 hours of cooking, you're not even going to know it's there anyways. But let's do it anyways, and Dr. Chef Parisi just happens to be in the house. I'm going to flip the rack over. See that shiny part there? That's the membrane. I'm just going to push up in the center of the rack there, and then using a butter knife, I'm gently going to go under the membrane while pulling up, completely exposing it. Then just rip it off in both directions. If you can't get a good grip, using a paper towel works perfectly. At this stage, I'm going to use something known as a binder. What this does is it helps the seasonings and the spices adhere to the pork while it smokes for long times out on that smoker. Now, most people use mustard. That's good. I think it'll totally work. But what I'm going to do is take it to the next level and use pork lard. Remember, fat equals flavor. It's going to make these ribs that much more delicious. You rub it on just like you would mustard or any other binder. I'm going to be using in between 1 and 1.5 tablespoons of pork lard per side of baby back ribs. Evenly and generously completely cover all surface area so that the seasoning can stick, making sure every bite is delicious. And for the seasoning, this is my own favorite blend. I'm going to be using 3/4 teaspoon per side of coarse salt, and remember to season high to cover all that surface area of seasoning. Then a 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper per side, followed up with 3/4 teaspoon per side of garlic granules. You could also use garlic powder. Then 3/4 teaspoon of onion granules. Again, you can also use onion powder. And then last but not least, 3/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika per side. And if there's one thing I enjoy doing, it's smoking food. Now, I don't get to do it as often as I'd like, but when I do, it's always so much fun. And honestly, that's what it's all about. Cooking doesn't need to be some horrible chore. Make it fun. I love this spice blend, but if there's another spice blend that you love, try it. If there's a sauce that you love, try it. If you just want to use salt and pepper, so be it. It's all about having a good time while doing this. Just finishing up seasoning up these ribs, then I'm heading outside to my smoker. Now what I'm going to do is place some ribs on a top rack and some on the bottom. They're going to smoke evenly, so I'm not really worried about any inconsistencies. Now we're going to close the door and let them smoke for 3 hours. This is the first part of the 3-2-1 smoked baby back ribs. Don't go too far because with about 15 minutes left in that 3-hour smoking period, I'm going to come back and make a barbecue sauce. Now, you've seen me do this 8 billion times. I'll do it again for you. I'm adding 2 cups of barbecue sauce to a medium-sized pot. Any of your favorite barbecue sauces will do. I've got a great homemade recipe if you want to check that out. Then I'm adding in a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 cup of apple juice, a 1/2 cup of water, then 1 stick of unsalted butter. Now I'm going back over to my cooktop and over low heat. I'm just whisking this together until the butter is incorporated and melted. Be sure to give it a try. It's a game changer. Now let's go give those ribs a look. Oh my gosh. So good. We got that nice little bark on there. The color looks excellent. And at this stage, they should be about 165 degrees Fahrenheit internally. What we're going to do is bring them inside for the next step. Alrighty, what we're gonna do at this stage is get them sauced up, wrapped up, back out on the smoker for 2 more hours. Now, when it comes to wrapping them, there are some options. The first one being foil. I used to use foil all the time. I started having issues with that. The problem is that beautiful bark you've worked so hard to create, it becomes like rubbery and soft in foil because it's airtight in there. I've really switched to peach paper or butcher's paper the last few years. It's still permeable, so some of the smoke can get through that paper and still help keep that beautiful crust on our ribs. That's exactly what I'm gonna do here. I'll show you how easy it is. You can actually get a roll of peach paper or butcher's paper from a local hardware store or online for pretty dang cheap. I'm gonna cut off a piece of peach paper that's roughly 36 inches in length. I know that seems big, but you're gonna need it. Then I'm gonna lay down the smoked ribs in the middle of the peach paper, about 6 inches from the bottom. Now what I wanna do is generously baste them with the barbecue sauce, maybe about a 1/4 cup of it on each side of these smoked rack of ribs. And now to wrap it up, I was always taught to take pride in your wrap no matter what it is. Starting from the bottom, fold up over the ribs. There should be about 1 inch of the ribs exposed still. Then fold right to left, crease down the side of the paper, then fold left to right, crease down that left side. And then what you want to do at this stage is just roll it up tight forward until you have a nice little, well, rib package. This is perfect. Repeat the process with the other ribs. Then we're going right back outside to that smoker, laying it in the same positions, and there they'll smoke for 2 hours, the second part of our 3-2-1 procedure. This portion of the cooking procedure will help accelerate the cook time and ensure our ribs are juicy and tender. And one of the things that I do absolutely love about barbecue is that it's meant to be shared. That's why when you go to barbecue restaurants, there's always picnic benches, so you're sitting around people. It's a communal thing, it always has been. So even during this smoking process for several hours, call someone, reconnect with them, have them come over and hang out. It's supposed to be that way. Good food takes time. I promise you in the end, they're gonna be happy and you are gonna love the final results. All right, 2 more hours while it's wrapped up smoking. We'll come back and finish up with 1 more hour. The smells have even creeped into my house and oh my gosh, yes, these look perfect. It's okay if the paper is a little bit saturated like this. It will not rip. You're in good shape. And if you're checking temperatures, they should be about 200 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit internally at this stage. We're going to remove the ribs and bring them back inside because what we want to do is unwrap them for this last part of the 3-2-1 procedure. And whoa, do these look excellent. Putting them back out on the smoker in those exact same positions. But one last thing I'm gonna do is just baste the top with a little bit more barbecue sauce, maybe just 2 to 3 tablespoons. No worry about doing the underneath side. Then we're smoking them for 1 more hour to complete our 3-2-1 procedure. This last part will help to reinforce that coveted crust on the outside. Then when they're done, let's have a look. Yes, this is what perfection looks like. Perfectly smoked ribs. They got the color I'm looking for, they have the texture I'm looking for, and they got that nice little rib flex when you hold it in the center. These are exactly what I wanted. Can't wait to try them. And I'm sure it's clicking now. 3-2-1. 3 hours unwrapped and smoked, wrapped for 2 hours smoked, unwrapped for 1 final hour, totaling 6 hours. It's foolproof. It really is that easy. And once you start enjoying the entire life cycle of the cooking process, I'm talking about grocery shopping to cleaning up, it will be a whole new light for you and you will start to enjoy it. And in the end, what's better than seeing friends and family smile after they take that first bite? There's nothing. Good food always makes the best memories. Let me show you how I plate this up. I'm going to cover these ribs in a little bit of foil and let them rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then at this stage, I'm going to come back and generously baste them again with that nice hot barbecue sauce. The flavor combination with the sauce and the spice rub marries together so well. And then for ease of eating, I just like to slice them into 1 bone increments. And of course, from here, it's all smiles. And some of my fondest memories are from eating around the dinner table with my family. That's the good stuff that I remember. And honestly, I sure hope to do more of this with mine. These ribs are so good. I really hope they become a new family and friend favorite. And if you like these, oh my gosh, my Korean short ribs, the marinade and the flavors of those are next level. I've got a great recipe video. You have to check that out. Let's make sure we got a gentle tug here.